How's it going? This is Sherrod, managing member at Oakhurst Legal Group and one of the leaders at the sports immigration practice. And right now I wanted to talk to the graduating students. There's a lot of times, especially around, I'd say February, we start getting inquiries from student athletes that are getting ready to graduate that are foreign nationals, typically on F1 visas, or they might have some OPT left after they graduate, and they're trying to figure out, what do I do now? Well, competing at the NCAA level does give you a huge head start when it comes to obtaining a P1 visa. Now, if you've also competed for your national team, for example, we've had swimmers and track runners that did well at the NCAA, but also competed at the World Championships for their countries. You may be eligible for the O1A. And one thing to ask yourself when you're thinking about which one is better for me is to think about what you're going to be doing after you graduate, and second, what your likelihood on eligibility can let you do. So on a P1, you're really supposed to be focused on competing and training, and that's kind of it. But say, for example, in tennis, a lot of times the athlete will want to work at a country club, doing a lot of coaching and stuff like that at the club, and then kind of compete in addition to that. To be most correct, that the P1 would not be the visa type for that, because you'd be doing so much other things other than competing. Now, there's a way to kind of articulate that maybe that's kind of a sponsorship situation, but still the bulk and the spirit of what you're doing on the P1 needs to be competition. In those cases, the most appropriate visa type would be either the H-1B or the O1. The H-1B can be very tough because it's subject to a cap, but the O1 is great for somebody that has a lot of accomplishments, both at the NCAA level and with competing for their national team. And on the O1, it's perfectly fine to do seminars, coach, make podcasts, pretty much do anything you can think of that's remotely related to your sport. The other thing to think about is eligibility. So why it might make sense for you to have an O1, you might not have the background to support an O1, meaning that maybe you didn't do very well in your NCAA as far as like winning championships, top place finishes, all conference teams, and maybe you didn't do a lot of competition with your national team. That's fine. You can still do the P1A, but you just have to make sure that you have an event schedule, a schedule of competitions that you plan to maintain and that we can articulate that are important. For example, like when you are a swimmer, we would still need to get together to come together with a series of events that are very high international level to make sure that we can show for 3 years that you have competitions to base the itinerary off of. So for graduating students, there is an option for you out there under the P and O1 categories as an athlete to continue your non-immigrant status in the United States after you transition out of the F1 visa or your OPT. If you have any questions about that, don't hesitate to contact us back. Thank you very much.